Eugene and Nas did not play this past weekend for some reasons that the ABC crew is going to disclose to you guys if you guys didn't know. Without further ado, get straight into it, fellas. Eugene and Nas didn't play. Eugene didn't come to the gym with 15K that Nas thought he was going to come to the gym with. So Nas decided not to play the game. He even said he'd play for 10. Eugene said he would wire him the money, but Nas didn't trust him, I believe, or is that what he said? And the game didn't happen. So Scoob stepped in, and Scoob took Nas's fade for him, and the game did not go the way Scoob wanted it to go. Eugene dominated that game, and now we have some questions in the air of what that matchup between Gene and Nas look like, and if it'll ever happen, fellas. Let's talk about it.
Millie, tee off real quick, Millie.
There's a lot. There's layers to this, but first of all, I don't know if we see the matchup within the next year because I think Eugene is going back to China really, really soon.
Yeah,
and I think he's going back for a year.
Mm-hmm.
So if we see it next summer, possibly. I definitely understand not bringing the cash to the gym, of course. And I think as far as Nas's side, like it's just a matter of what you're okay with and what you value the most. I think betting on the game was the most valuable thing. That's what cut off all, that's what stopped the game. Like if there was no bet, there was no game. That was number one priority. And it's different per individual. Like obviously for me, if I play a one-on-one, I would have still played it, but who am I to sit here and say that you got to play that? You know what I mean? Because if he values that as the most important thing, then that's the most important thing to the game. Talking about Nas there.
Yeah.
I slightly disagree. I think in my reaction to that, I said like you got to play that game only because it was promoted like that was the matchup people came to pay to see happen. Like we paid money, or people that were in the DMV paid money to show up and see that matchup, and they didn't get Scoob versus Ty, and they didn't get Nas versus Eugene, but instead we get Eugene versus Nas. It's like a matchup you don't pay to see, but it happens. So I felt like that matchup should have still happened. And Eugene said, like, I think the limit for the day that can be sent right away was like 5K or something like that. I personally think it still should have played it because Nas is already there.
Yeah,
Nas said the money wasn't good, so Nas was like, I'm not playing it. So you just sat there and coached Scoob.
I do think that would have been the right thing to do, just because it had been promoted and a lot of people wanted to see it that day. You know what I mean? Even the people in the building. So, B, what do you think?
I want to give some credit to Dev in the lab here. I was in his IG live yesterday. He was kind of breaking down the film of it, and he made a great point. And I'm gonna just kind of reiterate it and see if you guys agree, see if the audience agrees. He was talking about just because you're street stars don't mean you have to do street things. And a 15K bet and asking somebody to bring money, $15,000 in the gym where they don't know nobody and they're by themselves is kind of an absurd ask. So he was kind of like of the lines of, there's Chat GPT. Why nobody ain't just say, hey, yo, can you write me up a $15,000 contract for a 1v1? And then both parties sign it. And then, now it's a legal thing. It's a legal thing now where he's legally obligated to pay whoever loses. Whoever loses is legally obligated to pay. So I think Devin and Lab made a great point there. I think Street Stars needs to start running their business as a business. Because it is. I mean, they've gone on tour, they're selling tickets, they're making money from the door, they're posting their videos, they're potentially getting ads for their 1v1s. It's a business now. And I think Dev is right. If you're gonna play a 1v1 of that magnitude with that much money, a contract needs to be signed by both parties. That way, he doesn't need to bring the money to the gym at all. He's required to pay you wired, whatever the case may be. And if he doesn't, you could take legal action. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. I think he made a great point there.
And it can be docu-signed right there. That is really smart. That's a great solution.
Mm-hmm.
My only thing was, fellas, you can elaborate on this, is when I'm not even saying either side's necessarily in the wrong. They both have their beliefs on how the game should have been played and how things should, went about it. But when Nas said he assumed Eugene was going to bring all cash, they didn't really talk about bringing cash. They just agreed on the amount. Like they agreed on the 15K, and he assumed because that's how Nas bets. But I'm like, you can't assume everybody bets the same. And I think that's where the connection and the miscommunication was. Because if I'm betting B. Ellis or A. Millie for 15 or 20K, and I don't say how the money is supposed to be bet, whether it's cash or check, whatever the case may be, and I just expect you to bring all cash, I can't be mad at you for not bringing all cash if we necessarily didn't talk about it.
Yeah,
all cash.
yeah, completely agree,
Yeah.
bro. I completely agree. And also, I want to say this: Eugene German did say, like, if it was like an empty gym thing where it was just him, Nas, and the cameraman, he would have bought the 15K. It was the outside parties. Like, he said he didn't know, like, it could be 100 people that's on board with the bet in the gym, and then that one person that's not, it makes it an entire scene. So I kind of see where he's coming from in this entire situation. And also, bro, I just think it's time to run it like a business, man. I agree with Dev, bro. When I heard Dev say that, I say, man, that's a great point. And if we talk about it, I'll give him his credit and bring this up during the time we talk, bro. I think that's an amazing point.
Yeah.
Bro,
Nah, I like that.
go ahead. But bro, I got a question, man, and I'm gonna be honest with you. Not Scoob kind of got thrown under the bus, bro. And I'm gonna keep it all 100. To me, he kind of did, because he's in his hometown. Once again, he was supposed to play in a previous 1v1 against Smooth Joe in his hometown. It didn't go down. So it's the second time where his opponent doesn't show up or couldn't show up due to flight delays. And now he's kind of putting a hot rock in a hard place, because people will be asking for their money back. Some people will. Some people will. If there's the two best guys on tour aren't playing. And I do think Scoob was put into a corner because he's in his hometown, and he's like, all right, I'll play.
Yeah. And it being a Street Stars event, do you think that added into him feeling like he had to play because Eugene had to play someone?
Yeah, I honestly do.
Yeah.
I honestly do. Being that it was a Street Stars event, his name is on that. That is his business. That's what he does. He's like, all right, I step out there for however much they bet for. I wish things could have been resolved better, though, for sure. But
getting into the game, what do y'all,
situation.
or do you have closing thoughts on that? So
No, I would just say I think everybody keeps talking about whether Nas is ducking or not. I think that's not even the main part of the conversation. I think it's just giving the fans what they wanted to see, that we're there and that we're willing to support Nas, because this isn't a knock on Nas saying he's not good enough to play Eugene and like that. It's just, it sucks that the game never happened, because that would have been a staple game in the community, especially for Nas, had he beat Eugene,
Yeah, I agree with that distinction. So, because I don't think it's about Nas ducking. I just think it's more about what the right decision was.
Yeah.
That's what we're trying to figure out. What was the right thing to do? But getting into the game, how do y'all think Scoob looked?
Quick analysis. Scoob was actually playing some solid defense early. Gene was making some tough shots, but I think that first, he making tough shots throughout the game. The first bucket, the hezzy to lay, set the whole tone. And from then I was like, I think Eugene is just a little better.
Did you feel like he was outclassed, or did you feel like if Scoob made a few more shots, could he have made a few more shots? Could he have played a little bit better defense, or do you think it was kind of like he was outclassed?
Scoob had a couple opportunities at the basket that he missed. So I mean, he was right there. It wasn't like it was an obliteration to say, but Eugene took more of the opportunity. He made more of the opportunities that he got on offense.
Yeah,
in terms of efficiency. So, like I said, 16-7 is really 32-14. So, like, there's a big gap there. But there's a few plays where Scoob misses a off the glass 10-footer in and out, couple layups. You know what I'm saying? So the game could have went either way depending on those few possessions.
I think it was like the biggest difference in being a pro, and I think Scoob is definitely like a professional one-on-one player. Don't get me wrong, but I think Eugene. It didn't look like an obliteration, but Eugene just made shots. And I think that's ultimately what separates a lot of pros.
Bro, I think so, right? I think he was playing decent defense to start the game, but I felt like he was pressing offensively. And also, I do think the Street Stars corner was a lot more frantic than they normally are in one-on-ones. Like that corner was like a little more when normally when in terms of Scoob, they kind of let Scoob operate. Scoob's kind of calm in these situations, and the corner kind of lets him operate, and then they see something, they tell him. But in that one-on-one, I don't know, because they felt like Eugene German was one of them ones, they were a little bit more frantic to me. And I think that kind of somewhat played a part in like Scoob being a little bit more pressing than he normally is. But bro, Eugene is a bucket. Eugene is a bucket. And I do want to say, I don't think it was a preparation thing because some people may say, oh, well, Scoob had a matchup. He didn't play. Well, like the Ty Nichols matchup, he didn't show up. But Eugene German had his mind on Nazir Core the whole time, and they didn't check up. So they both are kind of in the same situation as of, I didn't watch film on him. He didn't watch film on me. We checking up just for the respect. But I'm going to say this. My respect level for Scoob goes up.
100%. I just want to say this kind of goes back to when Scoob earlier in the summer said, check up or shut up, and made that video. We kind of had a little back and forth with him. I mean, he was about it though. He stood on what he said. He stood on it, and he wasn't even supposed to play. So I definitely respect the Scoob. Just want to make that clear for playing that.
I definitely got respect for Scoob for even dropping the video within 12 hours. Like the video dropped ASAP. I was like, damn, I respect that. Especially a lot of people already knew the outcome of the game, and I think people still support and still watch. Like that was super cool to see. But I will say this though, man. I think for Eugene, the Street Stars corner for what B was saying, I think they knew it was at stake. Eugene wins. He's a shit talker. You already knew what was coming with this. Like they're like, man, we can't allow him to win. But that's why I say, I should have been out there.
Yeah,
that's the guy for the match. You know?
Yeah. I think they knew how good Eugene was as well. And it's like, you don't want to get down early because this guy is for real. And you do run the risk of potentially getting obliterated, quote unquote. You know what I mean? So like potentially, I mean, he's just a guy. Right. So you get a little frantic there because you're like, oh, don't lose like 16 to like 3 or something like that. Because it can happen. It's basketball. You miss a shot, Eugene rattles off a few, and that's game. So it can just happen very quickly. That's why I think they were taking it kind of serious. Like,
guys, can I actually go ahead, sir?
I was saying, not to be too long-winded on that. I was like, it was kind of crazy hearing them call out what Eugene was going to do. They just couldn't stop it. They're like, when he goes left, he's going to step back. When he goes right, he's going to straight on the basket. But he's just so fast and creates so much space. It's easier said than done. But go ahead.
Yeah. If I take Nas out of the equation, matter of fact, I'm going to ask 2 questions. The first one is, if Nas and Eugene would have played, who do you guys have winning?
Yeah. I think it would have been super close. I think like 16-14. Either way, honestly.
It depends on what version of Nas we get. Because if we get the version of Nas, we got to be honest, that we saw against Kobe, Eugene has a really good shot. But if we see the version of Nas that played against in Detroit, I don't know. It's a tough conversation. But we've only seen one version of Eugene so far. So that'd have been a good game.
If I take Nas out of the equation, give me like a name you would like to see Eugene play.
This is like left field, and I feel like not me, but his name gets mentioned a lot. But I would like to see him play Filet.
Oh wow! Oh wow!
Yeah, I would like to see that.
Oh wow!
There's no
and I
better
know
man.
we sit here and like say his name and it never happens, but because he's not in the space. But like I thought about that after I watched the Eugene game. It's like I would like to see him versus Filet, but in the YouTube space, I mean, obviously you want to see him play the top guys, right? But what's the best matchup? Like.
Oh man, he's thinking hard. That's not normally a shot to think of what.
Yeah.
In the YouTube space. Damn, bro.
I mean, do you just go to the Zay, the Rob matchup? Yeah. Just because they're the next 2 outside of the Nas and Scoob? I would say so, probably.
I mean, what? He's 6'1".
Eugene's strong.
Lie, bro. I would love to see him versus Keon, dude.
Keon? That'd be
two high profile scores.
I know Keon's a lot smaller, but it might just be a good game.
It might be a great game.
Keon's that good, I think. Offensively, he's that elusive. I think he would score. It's just a matter of whether he would be able to stop Eugene from scoring because Eugene's strong.
Yeah.
Keon's still young too. He's like 22.
Yeah, I was about to say that too. Eugene is a pro, like a
Yeah.
seasoned vet pro.
And
bro.
he's put in work, like
yeah,
real work.
fellas. The 2025 1v1 class, they may not come back for a while, but just the guys that's debuting is Lamar Peters, Eugene German, Keon, and did I say Lamar Peters? Isaiah Briscoe.
Yeah. Filthy. I saw your Lamar interview last night. Loved it.
Oh, bro.
I haven't watched it yet. Don't spoil it for me. I haven't watched it yet.
All
I
right.
haven't watched it yet.
Distraction.
Yeah. People are gonna love
20.
Lamar.
He on 20. But yeah, man. I just hopefully down the line when the bets are that high and they could come up with some contractual agreement, because I see what Nas is saying. I see what Eugene is saying. Scoob is the casualty.
The casualty. Casualty is crazy.
Let us know in the comments what you guys think, man. A lot's going on in the community, and ABC crew be covering it.